Nobody in the office knew the quiet new guy in the hoodie was actually the CEO. They just saw him as another nervous hire, probably there to shadow someone or run errands. But underneath that casual disguise was Marcus Taylor, a self-made black CEO who had built one of the fastest-growing real estate companies in the city. He wasn't there for a tour or a meeting. He was there with a purpose. After hearing rumors of shady deals, poor client treatment, and lazy work culture, Marcus decided he needed to see the truth for himself. No more polished reports or filtered updates from managers. He wanted raw, unfiltered reality, straight from the break room, the sales floor, and the everyday grind. So he changed his look, kept his name to just Mark, and stepped into his own company like a stranger. What he saw shocked him. From agents ignoring clients' calls to managers openly mocking new hires, the office was nothing like the dream he had built. One team leader even bragged about manipulating numbers to close deals faster. And when one employee boldly said, "The boss never shows up, so who cares?" Marcus just nodded, hiding the storm building behind his calm eyes. By the end of the day, Marcus had made his decision. The next morning, he walked into the office, not as Mark in a hoodie, but as Marcus Taylor, the CEO, and he wasn't alone. Some people were smiling, thinking this was some surprise company event. They had no idea what was coming next. Because what happened after changed the future of the company forever. Marcus stood at the front of the office, his suit crisp, his face unreadable. The same employees who had brushed him off just yesterday were now sitting up straight, suddenly aware of who he really was. Phones were quietly set down. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. A nervous energy filled the room. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His presence alone shifted the mood. Everyone knew something serious was about to happen. What no one knew was how much Marcus had seen. Every careless word, every ignored client call, every moment of disrespect, it all replayed in his mind like a movie. And the part that stung the most. The culture he had worked so hard to build was falling apart, right under his nose. This company started with just him, a laptop, and a dream to give people better, more honest access to real estate. He'd been the one knocking on doors, meeting clients at all hours, grinding to build trust. He hired people he believed in, trained them, gave them chances, and somewhere along the way, some of them forgot the mission. What happened yesterday wasn't just a bad day, it was a wake-up call. He scanned the room, locking eyes with a few employees who had laughed behind his back just 24 hours ago. They didn't look so bold now. A few glanced down at their shoes, already guessing what might be coming. Others whispered nervously, wondering if they were next. Marcus hadn't said a single word yet, but the silence said enough. He turned toward the conference room. "I need the leadership team, now." And with that, the doors closed behind him, and the real conversation began. Inside the conference room, the leadership team filed in slowly. No one spoke. Some looked confused, others uneasy. They hadn't seen Marcus this serious in a long time. He usually led with optimism, with calm confidence. But today, his silence felt heavier than any speech. He finally looked up. "Yesterday, I went undercover as a new hire," he said, his voice low but clear. "I saw everything." A hush fell over the room. No one dared to speak first. "I watched agents lie to clients. I saw managers skipping meetings, ignoring messages. I listened to people mock the company, mock me. And I realized, this place isn't what it used to be." One of the regional managers, Denise, shifted in her chair. "Marcus, if there are issues, we can fix them. Maybe it was just a rough day." He cut her off. "This wasn't just a bad day. This is a broken culture." Meanwhile, out on the office floor, rumors started flying. Some employees were panicking, others pretending everything was fine. A few even laughed it off, thinking it was all some over-the-top CEO stunt. But those who had been careless around Mark went laughing. They knew they'd messed up. One junior agent, Kevin, kept refreshing his email every 5 minutes, convinced a termination notice was coming. Back in the conference room, Marcus paced slowly. I built this company to serve people, not cheat them. But somewhere along the way, we started chasing commission more than character. That ends now. He paused, scanning their faces. I've already made a list. That one sentence made the room colder. Denise looked like she wanted to speak again, but stayed quiet. The tension hung in the air like a storm waiting to break, and no one knew where the lightning would strike first. Marcus stepped closer to the table, laying down a folder filled with notes. Real notes, not filtered reports or glossy presentations, just the truth, scribbled in his own handwriting. Names, dates, incidents, conversations overheard. He didn't need cameras. He had been there, living it with them. One of the senior brokers, Jamal, leaned forward, trying to read upside down. You wrote all that?" he asked quietly. Marcus nodded. Every moment, every lie. Every time someone said, "The boss doesn't care." I was right there, listening. The air in the room turned heavier. No one moved. Meanwhile, in the bullpen outside, phones rang unanswered. Conversations were replaced by silence. Even the office prankster sat frozen at his desk. Everyone could feel it. Something big was about to happen. Some started texting each other under the table, whispering in corners. A few even packed their things quietly, hoping to leave before their name was called. Back in the room, Marcus turned toward a young assistant manager named Tasha. She had looked him in the eye yesterday and treated him with respect, even when others didn't. "Tasha," he said, "how many times have you reported concerns to your supervisor this year?" Her voice was soft. 3 times, no follow-up. He nodded, almost sadly. That's part of the problem too. Eyes started shifting. Some of the higher-ups knew they were in trouble, not just because of what they'd done, but what they didn't do. What they let slide, what they ignored. And then Marcus took a deep breath. "I didn't come here today to give a speech," he said. "I came to clean house." He turned toward the door, ready to step out and face the rest of the team. Everyone inside and outside held their breath. They knew the next few minutes would change everything. Just as Marcus reached for the door handle, his phone buzzed. He paused. One glance at the screen, and his expression changed. Not angry, not shaken, but surprised. He stared at the message for a long second before slipping the phone into his pocket and turning back to the room. "There's something else," he said, voice low, but sharper now. "While I was undercover, someone inside this office tried to access my private files, my personal server." The room froze. No one even breathed. "I set a security tripwire on purpose, a test just to see how far the rot had spread." Denise's eyes widened. Jamal sat back slowly, crossing his arms. Whispers erupted outside the door, where more employees had gathered, trying to eavesdrop without being seen. Marcus scanned the faces around the table. Whoever it was used a company login. They tried to copy sensitive investor information. If they had succeeded, we could have been facing legal trouble, even criminal charges. Now it wasn't just fear in the room, it was panic. "I didn't just find laziness and ego out there," he continued. "I found betrayal." The stakes had officially changed. This wasn't just about underperforming agents or poor work culture anymore. This was about trust, security, loyalty. And now someone wasn't just about to get fired, someone could end up in court. Marcus opened the folder again and pulled out a second sheet, this one printed. A digital access log, highlighted, time-stamped. It didn't show the name, just an ID. "I already gave this to it," he said. "The name will be matched within the hour." Tension cracked like glass across the table. Everyone was a suspect now. And just like that, the storm Marcus brought in had grown into something no one expected. The door burst open before Marcus could speak again. His head of it, Devon, stepped in, laptop in hand, face tense. "We've got the name," he said. "It was Jamal's login. Used twice, once from his office, once remotely. All eyes snapped to Jamal, who didn't flinch at first. He just sat there, arms still crossed, lips pressed into a thin line. "That's not possible," he said. "I didn't do that." But Marcus was already walking toward him. "Then explain the access logs. Explain why your credentials were used to try and download confidential investor files." Jamal stood up, defensive now. "I've been with you since the beginning. You think I'd risk all that for a few files?" "You tell me," Marcus replied coldly. For a second, the room felt like it might explode. The trust, the history, the betrayal, it all came to a head in that one moment. Employees outside were holding their breath, watching the tension build through the glass. Some had their phones out, secretly recording, unsure of what would happen next. Then came the twist. Devin cleared his throat. "Actually, we dug deeper. The device that accessed the files wasn't Jamal's. It was cloned. Someone spoofed his credentials." Marcus blinked. "Who?" Devin turned the laptop around to show the screen. A photo from the server room's security camera popped up. The image was grainy, but clear enough. It was Denise. She froze. "That's not me." But her voice cracked. Marcus turned to her, stunned. "Why?" She didn't answer. She just looked away. The room was silent again. Then Marcus said quietly, "You're done here." Security was already on standby. Denise stood slowly, defeated. Jamal sank into his chair, still in shock. Outside, the employees were speechless. The company had just witnessed the fall of not just bad culture, but betrayal from the top. And Marcus knew now, if he wanted to rebuild this company, it had to start from scratch. After Denise was escorted out, the room stayed silent for a long moment. The weight of what had just happened sat heavy in the air. Marcus looked around at the faces still seated, some guilty, some shocked, some just relieved it was over. He could feel the shift. The fear had passed. What was left was something deeper, reflection. "I didn't come back just to fire people," Marcus said finally. "I came back because this company matters. Our clients matter. The people who work hard every day and try to do the right thing, they matter most." He turned to Tasha, the assistant manager who'd tried to raise concerns but was ignored. "You're being promoted. Starting today, you'll lead the regional office." Her eyes widened in surprise, but Marcus just gave her a small nod. "We need people who still believe in the vision." Jamal, still stunned but cleared of suspicion, gave a slow nod. "I won't let it slip again," he said. Outside the conference room, employees were slowly returning to work. The buzz of nervous energy had shifted into something else, a sense of accountability. No one wanted to be next on the wrong side of the story. But more than that, they understood something. The CEO wasn't just watching, he cared. That day, Marcus stayed late. He walked the office floor again, not undercover this time, but as himself. He shook hands. He asked questions. He listened. The next week, he announced new leadership training, open-door policies, and tighter controls on client communication. The message was clear. Culture comes before commission. Trust before profit. The company didn't just survive the storm, it started to rebuild, stronger than before. And this time, no one doubted who was really leading the way.